Hey, hello, this is Frank. Thank you for joining us on this how-to segment brought to you by Power Sports Max. Today we're going to take an ATV F014 and teach you how to assemble it. We're going to Alright, so this is how you should receive your ATV, packaged in a cardboard box like this. These straps right here, simply you just take a knife and cut them and remove them. This frees up your box and your packaging, so that way you can go ahead and begin to pull this box off. So I brought a little help along. You might need that also. Okay, for the basic opening of the crate, what you're going to need is a 9/16 open end socket, and you take your 9/16 wrench here. And what you're going to basically do is just hold it down like that and open it up. It's pretty loose already. It's not too tight. After a couple turns, okay, so we got all our screws and nuts and bolts off of our crate here. It's completely unfastened. What we got to do is take one of these off. You got one in the front and one in the back. You don't want this damaging your bike. Okay, so now that the ATV is uncrated, what you're left with is basically a plastic that'll cover it. It protects it from scratches, scuff marks. As you can see, it's a new product here. You want to do your best to make sure that it stays that way. You got your handlebars here. Okay, so this is where your battery is going to be located. All you got to do is basically cut the wire here. It frees it up. You got a box right here with your battery and your electrolytes. Basically what Okay, in your wheel well, you're going to find a bag full of all the nuts and bolts that you'll need for your assembly. You have your risers. These are your caps right here for your rims. You got your air hose here. You got an open end 10mm and 8mm. Alright, on the left side under the wheel well right here, you're going to find yourself part of your rack assembly. This is actually your bumper, your front bumper right there. If you look on this side, on the right side, Alright, rear tires, you're going to have to snap them. They got a little cable here that holds them in place. Basically, you take a pair of clippers, cut that off, and then pull them out. On the rear here, there are a couple supporting brackets that hold this ATV in place. So you got to go ahead and make sure you loosen those and unfasten them. Now in the front here, you have a basic tie that'll hold it. Okay, so now you see everything that's come out of the ATV package so far. What we're going to do next, Alright. So now that it's free, it's very easy to now that the ATV is out of its packaging completely, what we got to do is just take the handlebars out next. This is going to be the thing we're going to be fastening up here. As you can see, it does come fully wired. In here will be here's your risers here that the mechanic has. Those are what you're going to be using to hold on the handlebars in place. You can see him with the ignition set up there. He's going to go ahead and place that on first. Take the bottom half of the riser and set it in place. And you want to make sure that the cables and everything go to the front part of the bike here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tighten these up with the wrench. You want to make sure, there's some notches in the handlebars here. You want to make sure that they fit right under these risers. That's where it's going to hold on to. If you use the side over here, it's going to be like a strip nut. It's just not going to have any place to contact. All right, so we're gonna lift up the rear end, set it on the jack right here, so we can get these back. All right, so before we put the tires on, we're gonna fit this rear rack on. You have one bolt that's gonna be a little longer than the others. That's gonna hold the muffler in place. It's gonna be the first one we're gonna go ahead and put in so you can see that. Once again, we're just going to go ahead and finger tighten these bolts so we get everything set up. Electrical connectors for your tether cord here and your rear brake light. These right here we're going to have to plug in. As you can see, they already come with their connectors. I want to go ahead and make sure you get a nice click when you're putting those together. That's when you know it's fast. Now, as we set up the tires, I want you guys to notice that there's a difference in the tread. You want these arrows pointing forward. That's going to give you the best traction. You also notice. Okay, so you're going to notice that your tires, they don't come with any air. So you're going to need a compressor to take it to a local gas station, maybe a neighbor's house, whoever can help. Okay, to fasten the tire into place, you're going to need the 3 lug nuts and. Okay, so here we have your rear axle. Just place your rear tire on like that. Go ahead and get your lock nut. So you make sure the washer goes on first, so that way it can lock. Okay, so we have to attach the front control arm. In order to do that, we're going to need this lock washer. We need this nut here with the groove so we can fit this cotter pin in there. Alright, so you're going to have to attach your front shock. You got a bolt that goes in through here and a nut on the other side. It's pretty basic and simple. Alright, so we're going to be fastening on the front tire here. This is pretty much done the same to all. What you have is your 3 nuts and your 3 lock washers there. And those are what will hold it in place. Make sure you put that lock washer on first. Okay, so you make sure you put your lock washer on first. Then you put the nut over it. Make sure you get a nice secure fit there. The lock washer is going to make sure that these wheels don't fly off. Okay, we have a rear shock that we also have to go ahead and assemble here, put together and fasten. As you see here, Now this is another area you might want to apply some Loctite to. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to fasten the front bumper into place. It takes 4 bolts. It's already threaded into the frame on this part, and on the upper part here you got a nut that's welded in place on the other side. Okay, so now that we have everything settled in its place, we're going to go ahead and unpackage the battery here. As you notice, it does come with a sticker over the top and your fastening nuts. So what you're going to do is take the packaging, cut it open, and get yourself ready to put that battery acid in. Now, this is very corrosive material, so be careful for your hands as you're doing this. Okay, so now you just apply the cap to the top, so you don't get no fluid coming out as you're running around on the ATV. There you are. So here's your latch for your rear seat. This is where your battery, how you're going to get access to your battery compartment. Alright, so as you can see, the battery fits right in there into that little compartment, nice and easy. Go ahead and pull these screws back out. You got your positive charge here and your negative there. So you get the 2 red wires together. Put one of them through the boot like that. What this is going to do is prevent any kind of corrosion, dirt, anything from getting on those connectors right there. You want to have a nice clean connection so your battery starts up real good every time. Alright, so now we have our boots and everything in place, batteries there. We want to go ahead and strap it down. And just basically put the front end here, through here, and then you got your latch. Okay, so what we're going to attach next is your footwell area. What we have here is the gold spacer. You got the chrome screw and then a nut that locks it in place. Now you take the screw and the spacer, and that goes on the inside right here. You want to be careful not to force things at this point. They're pretty flexible, but you don't want to crack anything. This is your fuse that leads from your battery. That's your positive charge right there. You want to double check. Okay, when you receive this vehicle, it's going to come with non-performance grade oil. This is your dipstick here, where you're going to go ahead and check to make sure you have a good oil level. So as you can see, it does have oil right now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and fill this up with gas. This takes regular unleaded gas. There's nothing special to it. just pop up the gas can and fill it up right here. Alright, this is your fuel shutoff valve right here. You want to go ahead and check that once you got gas and flip it in the open position like that. Alright, so your fuel filter is right here. This is how you can tell it. Alright, so what we got to do to start this, we hold in the brake over there. You come up to this side, you make sure this switch right here is switched down. You got your choke down here, and here's your starter button. Alright, so we got our assembly. Alright, so as you can see, we have our assembly completely finished now. What you want to make sure to do is you got your headlight switch over here, so you can use those.